People, it has been a while. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Where has Ade been? If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would know that I've been in Morocco for 4 days. I got back on Sunday and I've just been busy since then. So yeah, that's where I've been. Apologies. I know a lot's happened in the world of boxing that we do need to speak about. A lot of shit has happened. And to be fair, I'm fed up. I'm actually fed up of boxing right now. It just annoys me. I feel like sometimes I throw my toys at the pram, and if I'm honest with you, I could have made a video last week. I just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered to talk about the Fury versus Chisora fight. I couldn't be bothered to talk about AJ not fighting this year. I couldn't be bothered to talk about the fact that we're not going to see, at least in the next 4 or 5 months, Adrien Spence versus Terence Crawford and other stuff. But we have to talk about them. We're here, we have to talk about them. So let's start with Tyson Fury versus Adrien Broner. I think that might have been the last video I did. I can't remember. And I said, look, the fight's going to happen. The fight officially got announced, I think 4 or 5 days ago. It will happen at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And I have to say this, I'm surprised about how many tickets they've sold. I didn't expect it to sell that many, which I guess now confirms that Tyson Fury, if you didn't know it, apologies, Tyson Fury is a star. I mean, if you think that he's not, then I guess you're going to have to rethink, because obviously we saw what he did against Dillian Whyte at Wembley Stadium, and that could have done 200,000 tickets, right? Everyone was trying to get a ticket and no one could. And now I think it's sold out against Adrien Broner. So don't get me wrong, they're both decent dance partners in the sense that they're named, so it's not just Tyson Fury versus anyone, but it goes to show that Tyson Fury is now a stadium fighter. He's no longer an arena fighter, he's now a stadium fighter. Look, I said that Tyson Fury's got an inbuilt or built-in excuse. He's going to say that, look, I tried to get Alexander Usyk, and I think it's fair, he did want to fight Alexander Usyk this year. He's going to say, look, I tried to fight Anthony Joshua, so what am I going to do? I just want to fight, and that's what he's doing. Now, there are other names that he could have fought. What's that channel? I think it's Boxing King Media. I spoke to Frank Warren, and they were going through other names on BoxRec that were in front of Chisora that maybe were more deserving of the fight. But hey, I mean, Tyson Fury didn't want to fight any of those guys. The risk reward with fighting some of those fighters is very, very low. Could any of those fighters have done the same numbers that Chisora might do? Probably not. Boxing shouldn't be judged on that, but unfortunately that's what promoters do, right? They are going to look at who is the B-side and what that B-side can bring to the table. And, you know, if you are Frank Sanchez or other names that have been mentioned, you know, your commercial value isn't that big to make Tyson Fury want to risk fighting you. And when I say risk, I mean it, because those guys are very decent fighters. So it will be Adrien Broner. Look, I mean, I've said this about Chisora, like, you know, I know him, and I go and get your money. If they want to pay you to fight, world heavyweight title fight, but look, I don't think it's going to be very competitive. I mean, look, they fought twice before, and those fights weren't very competitive. The last one wasn't at all. They're both different in terms of their styles. Tyson Fury was considered a bit of a back foot fighter, right? Mover. Now he plants his feet and he'll stay in there with you and fight. So it could be exciting for a few rounds, but ultimately, I mean, Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight on the planet, and Adrien Broner doesn't make my top 15, so it should be one-way traffic. It will be on pay-per-view. I don't know what the price point will be, but look, again, I'm very, very surprised that it's done nearly 60,000 tickets. Surprises me. AJ will not fight this year, which is so... look, when AJ lost to Alexander Usyk, I do remember in the press conference, or maybe it was after, but I remember Eddie Hearn saying that AJ will come back and he'll fight in November. At the time, I was like, you know what, I don't really want to see AJ fight this year, just because, you know, he's clearly, or in the end of the fight against Usyk, we saw that he was clearly struggling mentally, and I thought he should take a break. But they've now said he's going to fight, right? They said he's going to fight, so I'm all on board him fighting. It felt like it could have been Tyson Fury, but AJ's always said, or his team or Eddie said that, no, December 17th, that's the date we're going to fight. And, you know, we're hearing Otto Volim, we're hearing Hrgovic, we're hearing Dillian Whyte. Now, all of a sudden, he's not fighting until the new year. And I know Eddie has said it will be early new year. It won't be early new year. I don't expect AJ now to fight in January or February, especially now Eddie mentioned the name Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's got a fight November 26th? Now, look, even if Dillian Whyte wins that by first round knockout, which he won't, he's not going to then fight 2 months later. He's going to fight 5 or 6 months later. That's just what these guys do, right? We know the history. So AJ, I don't think, is fighting until April. That's ridiculous. This is the problem, right? It's ridiculous. AJ is not as active as he should be. I almost feel like sometimes AJ leaves it all in the gym. He needs to be fighting. It's that simple. He needs to be fighting. He needs to stay busy. And this is why, as much as I am angry or upset that Tyson Fury is fighting Chisora, at least he's fighting. At least Tyson Fury said, no, I want to fight. You know, I've come on here before and I said, oh, you can't listen to what Tyson Fury, you know, I've always like Tyson Fury chats a lot of shit. At least he is having a fight. I didn't want to see AJ in with a killer in December. I just wanted to see him fight someone in December. You fight someone, you get your confidence, you stay busy. Fingers crossed it's still with Robert Garcia. It's another training camp, blah, 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 blah. Now he's not fighting anyone. And I think it's, honestly, I think it's a bit of a mistake what they're doing. Again, we always hear this with Eddie and AJ. There's always like this day he's going to fight and then something happens, he doesn't fight. And it's like, right now, AJ is fighting once every, it feels like this, once every 10 months. Sometimes it feels like once a year, but fighting once every 9 or 10 months. That simply isn't good enough. It's not good enough at all. So again, upset about Fury, but at least he's fighting someone. AJ, we don't know. Like, why couldn't Otto Volim be made for December? I mean, is there an injury? If there's an injury and someone knows, let me know. But, you know, I sat down with AJ a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing about that. And he actually even said in that interview, which hopefully does own release in a few days, I'm sure he said he wants to fight. And now he's not fighting. Crazy, honestly. But what's even crazier than that is this Terence Crawford, Errol Spence bullshit. Terence Crawford will now fight David Avanesian. And someone reached out to me because obviously I tweeted something and someone was like, Ade, come on, man. Avanesian's a good fighter. Yeah, but I wanted to see Errol Spence. It's not a case of whether Avanesian's a good fight. I want to see Errol Spence. I mean, no disrespect to Avanesian, he is nowhere near on the level of a Terence Crawford. Understand that, people. Nowhere near. Think about this. We were calling for Conor Benn to fight Avanesian. That was like a semi-competitive fight for both, right? I still don't know how that would have played out. Terence Crawford, Avanesian, honestly. And this is no disrespect to Avanesian. Clearly a decent fighter, but we've already seen him get smashed by Kavilaskas. And I know Kavilaskas caused Terence some problems, but in the day, quite easy work for Terence. So I'm so disappointed. Like all this time, and even Terence himself had a dig at Bob Arrow. Remember that? He said, "Oh, you know, I'm leaving Bob because Bob couldn't secure me the Errol Spence fight." He said it in front of Bob. Bob's right there. Terence was right there. I found it quite rude at the time, but it is what it is. We don't know what goes on between these fighters and promoters sometimes. He said, "I'm leaving you because you can't secure me the Errol fight." That was about 18 months ago. Where's the Terence fight? Where's the Errol fight, sorry? Where is it? You've left Bob. You've left Bob now. Bob's gone. You've left him. You left Top Rank. What's going on? What is going on? How's this not frustrating for people? What is going on with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford? Is it money? Because this seems to be the big problem with boxing right now, where there are so many broadcasters, and every broadcaster, I think, is actually paying above and beyond for the top tier talent, because obviously all the broadcasters want the top tier talent on their platforms, but they're paying a bit too much. We're going to talk about this because I want to mention something about Wilder, but they're paying a bit too much for their talent. And then you get to a situation where if you're Errol and Terence, you want to be paid quite a lot of money for that fight, right? You want to be paid. But unfortunately, the broadcasters ain't getting their money back. they're not going to get that money back. I don't know what people think. Like, we in the boxing bubble, for some reason, think that Errol versus Terence does 1 million buys, because we live in this boxing bubble. It probably doesn't do that. But I feel like Errol and Terence want 1 million pay-per-view buy money, if that makes any sense. That's the only reason I feel this fight isn't happening. It's the only reason. I don't think it's things like rematch clauses and fucking who walks first to the ring. And I know that Terence said he wanted more. What did Terence say? Something about wanting to know where all the money's coming from in terms of gate receipts, in terms of other commercial value to the fight. It's all about money. And I don't think this fight generates enough money to pay both fighters what they want without the broadcasters making a loss. I really don't. And I don't know what boxing does, because I feel like boxing's pushing itself into a problem where, look, I mean, HBO decided to walk away from the sport, where broadcasters just ain't going to make money. And then broadcasters eventually will just walk away because they're just not going to make money. It's just that simple. I mentioned Wilder there, and the reason I mentioned Wilder is because, look, Wilder, is a top tier fighter, right? And he's going to be, like, Wilder would have got paid well for that Helenius fight. That Helenius fight done 77,000 pay-per-view buys. And Wilder's going to have to be paid well, because if Wilder's not paid well, he'll leave and he'll go into another broadcaster, and you can't have Wilder doing that. So you've got to pay Wilder well, but then he only done 77,000 buys. So that fight, no matter what, and people might say it's only Helenius, it's still Wilder. That fight has made a loss for the broadcaster, 100%. Chuck in gate receipts, chuck in any other thing you want to chuck in. That fight has made a loss. And boxing right now is in a weird place where I think, and I'm all for boxers getting paid, right? Get paid, it's a difficult sport. But I almost feel like they're getting overpaid and broadcasters are struggling, especially the top tier fighters, which is why we're getting really bad undercards. Because the top guys are getting paid so much, and the broadcasters simply can't afford to pay the undercard guys anything, so you're getting average matchups on the undercard. Basically, for want of a better word, cheaper fights on the undercard. It's just how it is. Honestly, it's just how it is. And the argument with boxing and UFC is an interesting one, because obviously the UFC, for us as fight fans, gives us exactly what we want, but the fighters don't get paid anywhere near what boxers get paid. And that's why, like on the weekend just gone, you get fantastic fight cards, because you can stack them, because you can pay those guys relatively shit money. It's true, shit money. It's mad. Boxing's in a strange place, man. Very, very strange place. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Errol and Terence. Again, disappointing. I wonder what Errol does. Obviously, if Terence is fighting Avanesian, Errol looks like he's a bit too big now for 147. We might have missed a boat on it, people. What a fucking joke. We might have missed a boat. Like, this is a fight that should have happened 3 years ago. We might have missed a boat on it. Both of these guys, especially Errol, maybe just too big for the weight. What a joke, man. I don't know. What else have we got here? Anything? Let's have a quick look and see if there's anything here. Katie Taylor, back this weekend. I'm doing that event at the OVO. Is it OVO or OVO Arena? Formerly known as the Wembley Arena. She takes on Karen Carvajal. Don't know too much about her. Unbeaten. I spoke to Katie Taylor a few days ago. Obviously, look, she wanted it to have been Amanda Serrano. She wanted to redo that fight immediately again. Again, boxing. Why is that? Why has that fight not happened? Like, Amanda Serrano fought on the Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker fight card. No one even spoke about it, right? And now Katie Taylor's fighting this weekend. No one's speaking about it. You put them two together, it's magic. Boxing. But yeah, she wanted the Amanda Serrano rematch. I mentioned a few names to her. She's excited about potentially getting in the ring with like Alicia Baumgardner, Chantel Cameron, who obviously fights Jessica McCaskill. She even mentioned Michaela Meyer, others as well out there. I did ask her about sort of the pound for pound status, obviously because Clarissa Shields beating Savannah Marshall, and Clarissa Shields calls herself the GOAT. And I said, do you care about being the number one? Because Katie Taylor's so unassuming, I thought she might not. And she's like, no, she does. You know, people think she's number one. She's very happy to take that tag. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, obviously, look, if we're chucking in accolades, you have to give it to Claressa Shields, right? Double Olympic gold medalist. I know Katie had a fantastic amateur career as well, but double Olympic gold medalist. What's she now? Free weight champion, 3 of those undisputed. You have to give it to her. But in terms of names on resume, I mean, you have to give it to Katie Taylor. I mean, Claressa Shields hasn't beaten anyone as good as Amanda Serrano. She hasn't. Tasha Jonas is on that resume as well. Delphine Pursoon's on that resume. Jessica McCaskill's on that resume. Linda Dartu's on that resume. So just in terms of who they have fought as a professional, you have to give it to Katie Taylor. Although I do think Claressa's a better boxer, but you've got to go on who you've faced, right? You got to. All right. Adrien Broner signs with BLK Prime Boxing. Who the hell are these people? What is this? Who are they? Okay, they're the ones that are putting on the fight between Crawford and Avanesian. I've never heard of them. Never heard of them. Adrien Broner has so many false dawns, doesn't he? Like in the last year or so, it's always been about Adrien Broner fighting someone, then it doesn't happen. Or Adrien Broner's back and then no. Like Adrien Broner, didn't he have a press conference recently for a fight that just didn't happen again? So yeah, I'm not quite sure of Adrien Broner. I want him to come back, but his time is done. You can't, boxing ain't this joke where you feel like you can just turn the tap on and off and do what you want and get in shape and then you're either in it 100% or you're not. And Broner hasn't been in boxing 100% for the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't want to say I have no excitement in seeing him back. I have no expectations. That's what I meant to say. I have no expectations of seeing him doing anything. Jermaine Ortiz versus Lomachenko is this weekend. Vasily Lomachenko back. Can't wait to see him back. I mean, see, I put a smile on my face. When I think of Loma, I get excited because he's such a good fighter. Honestly, I feel like I am watching a Messi in the boxing ring. He's so special. Looking forward to seeing what he's got left. He's 34 now, Loma. Now let's see what happens with boxing. Look, if Loma comes through Jermaine Ortiz, it should be so easy to make Loma versus Devin Haney. Should be easy. The only thing that will stop that fight is money. Will that fight do massive pay-per-view buys in America? I don't know if it will. Will both want to get paid that kind of money? Yes, of course they will, because it's a tough fight. This is, in terms of the lightweight division, you could easily say this is number 1 versus number 2. You could really say that. I know Shakur's now gone up there, but he hasn't fought anyone. Gervonta's not really fought anyone at 135, and now Ryan Garcia's gone to 140. So this is it, right? Number 1 versus number 2. Sticking with the lightweight division, I am fucking sick to death of hearing rumors about Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Like Michael Benson and others tweet about like cryptic things about both of them so many times that Gervonta tweeted something and then deleted it. Gervonta put something up on his Instagram and then deleted it. I'm so tired of that fight. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like the other day I saw something about, they've now agreed something at 136 pound catch weight, but the broadcast situation is difficult. Of course the broadcast situation is difficult. Obviously Ryan Garcia is a DAZN fighter, DAZN want him to fight, and Gervonta Davis is a PBC fighter, so obviously it's gonna be difficult. Oh, mate, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if it's big enough to do a split pay-per-view. I don't know. DAZN have it on theirs. Like, you literally you gamble on who's going to make more money, right? DAZN have it and put on the same price as what BBC have it on. $50, whatever it is. Whatever, $50, more like $100 in America. Ain't this all like just so fucking stressful? So stressful. Wilder manager, is this Shelley Finkel? Hearn knows how to reach us on Joshua fight. Of course he does. You just done 75,000 pay-per-view buys. You should be begging for that opportunity now. But I don't think it will happen. I would like to see Wilder versus Ruiz. Is that a big fight in America? I'm so like not knowing what is a big fight in America anymore. Is that a big fight in America? My American guys, let me know, please. What else we got here? Jake Paul, Anderson Silva this week. Looking forward to that. I'm actually quietly looking forward to that. Oh, I think it's going to be confirmed, hopefully in the next few days. I think I'm going to be out there for the Mayweather-Deji fight. Look, the fight's not going to be competitive, right? I mean, Mayweather should dominate, but it's Mayweather, isn't it? I think they're just sort of confirming. Obviously, this is on the DAZN pay-per-view. Hopefully, I am out there. Hopefully, I'm out there. Just for me, just to interview Floyd would be sort of a dream come true, bucket list thing. So hopefully, it gets the green light. But there's a lot of moving parts because obviously I'm doing the Bivol Ramirez fight. Then I've got to go to Austin, Texas for Hasim Rahman Vitor Belfort. And it's in between that. So I don't know if there's enough time for me to go there, and there. But they're trying to sort something out. So hopefully something happens very, very soon. All right, let's see if there's anything else to talk about. Let me quickly go. I haven't done a video for an ages, so there must be more stuff. Let me quickly jump on Mike Carpenter's Twitter page. You know, another bucket list. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it into the ether. Got chalk man just came from gym. Put it into the ether. You know what else is on there that I really want to do? Like bucket list thing. Have a conversation with Max Kellerman. So not me interview Max Kellerman, like be on Max Kellerman's show. Mike Coppenger's on it quite a lot. I want that opportunity to talk boxing with Max Kellerman. Like I want to be Max Kellerman's UK correspondent on his show. Like if he has a segment, okay, let's talk UK boxing and let's welcome in. You know, I'm gonna put. Mark my words, that happens. Mark my words. All right. Anything else? Max here is talking about 136 pound catch weight. 136 pound catch weight fight. 136 pound catch weight fight. What is the point? Literally so much about Spence Crawford. So we are done. All right, peeps. Peace and love to everyone. Stay safe. Have a good one. Catch you on the other side.